Wow, was I on mute that entire time? Was I on mute that entire time? Oh, wow. So here's the thing, guys. I didn't mean to be unmuted. So there's like a little sensor at the bottom of the microphone here. Um, you just touch it. Like, watch this. I'll just touch it like this. Watch. On. It's very sensitive. Um, very, very sensitive. And you can literally just graze it and you're mute monstered. So that's actually happened a couple times here. Still getting used to this new microphone, unfortunately. So it's I apologize for that. All you really missed was my ad read. So nothing too, not that big of a deal, right? So I'll just start the ad read over again. Welcome everybody to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier marketed tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer and and let them know two goalies. One Mike sent you. Also, shout out to our sponsor at Extreme Discount Mattress with Western New York's finest selection in mattresses and adjustable beds featuring cool gel memory foam, two-sided mattresses, Telelay latex, organic mattresses, Chatham and Wells, Scott Living, and even the Skechers mattress, all for a third to a half the supposed sales prices anywhere else. Stop into any of their 7 locations across Western New York and check out their website, extrememattress.com. If you are looking for even more savings, check out their closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, with up to 80% off their already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-kind closeouts, floor samples. You can get quality mattresses for pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And this time, take 2, we got that one right. So again, I apologize for the mute monster to start the show. Definitely not the way I intended to start things off. But again, like I said, it's like such a sensitive sensor. I feel like you could blow on it and you're muted. But it's like one of the best mattress not mattresses. Yeah. So I got my ad read on my mind. Still one of the best microphones like on the market. It's incredible. Way better than what I was using before this. So I guess I can't complain too much that again, stuff like that happens. Yeah, so real quick, because before we went live, decided to go live here. I was I'm subscribed to Brian Koziel's tweets. He gives all like the post game quotes from from the players and Lindy after the game. And unfortunately, it looks like the Sabres are dealing with once again another big injury. Unfortunately, it looks like the lower body injury to Michael Kesslering is serious. Looks like it's going to be long term. Lindy's exact quote was, "It doesn't look good." Definitely not what you want to hear, especially when tonight was the first time you got to see, the long-awaited debut of Kesslering playing with power. They have their ups, their downs, their peaks and their valleys, but at the end of the night, you got to win, right? You got the win. I think that's all that matters. But again, not what you want to hear coming out of that game from one of the biggest, the big pieces from the off season. That's definitely concerning to me, at least. But typical, right? With the way this season has gone, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, this team cannot afford to lose. I mean, I saw something crazy, like man games lost about through the Sabres. Like the number was like laughably high for this early in the season, and now you're probably going to adding Michael Kesslering to that. So you're going to see another call up, probably Zach Jones, or we'll see who it is. But again, not the way you want to start or continue this season after a road trip where you get a very possibly meaningful win against a division opponent. It's You're already dealing with injuries. You just got back Rasmus Dahlin today after his leave of absence to go see his fiance in Sweden. You're starting to get healthy, to say the least, and now another major injury on your blue line. It just can't happen. It can't happen. Unfortunately, it's very very concerning to me. I really I don't know. But let's talk about the game. The Sabres get down pretty early, 1-0, and then Alex Tuck ties it up. Go into the second, and we've seen this before where they can't seemingly find a way to play 3 full periods, uh, and they go down 4-1. Pat Kane always seems to find a way to score against the Buffalo Sabres. Um, Timmins probably had his worst game as a Sabre tonight. But you get down 4-1, and I think it was Samuelson said it in his post game interview before, I was listening before we went live here, that they were pissed in the locker room after the second period. They were angry, and rightfully so. You fucking should be angry. That was pathetic. That effort, even with the first period, even though you kind of came out of that tied at 1, it was very a low event first period. But I just feel like you never really found your legs, even though again you came out of that first period tied. Then you got your your doors blown in the second. And again, the memes were starting. The Titanic gif, everything. It was just looking really bleak. The pitchforks were out, and I guess the effort that uh you know they gave in the second period, like Samuelson said, they said that they were pissed off at the way they played, and they came out like a little bottle rocket attached to all their asses. And Tage Thompson, in my opinion, was easily their best player tonight, without a doubt. Um, and he really honestly put this team on his back in that period. And then you saw the play in overtime. It was fucking beautiful. I forget. Maybe I forget who it was. Was it Sider? Maurice Sider in overtime, where he muscled them off in front of Gibson, found Samuelson, kind of coming in late, and then Sammy, who is apparently a goal scorer this season, uh, scores on Gibson in 3-on-3, and I love 3-on-3. Like, who doesn't? It's incredible hockey to watch, and scores. And we can put the pitchforks away. It's for now, even though again I think it's inexcusable, even given the injuries, that you've come out of this road trip with only 2 points. I know you played there was some tough competition. Utah, that's a tough game. Colorado's a tough game, but you were in those games. You were. And to only come out with 2 points, when you're already at the bottom of the East, essentially, to me, is inexcusable. You need to come out. I think you needed to come out of this with at least 3. I know it's 1 point difference, but with how tight the East is right now, that point matters a lot. They have stacked up quite a few loser points this season so far. I don't know. Is it too much to ask this team to finish out games, every night, even given the injuries? I think the kid line 2.0, I think they've looked great ever since they've assembled that line. Austin, Rosine, and Quinn. I thought that line looked, good again tonight. I think that even when you get healthy, Lenny Ruff and Kevin Adams, it's going to have a hard time sending those guys back. Like, how are you? Like, how can you? Like, how can you justify sending those guys back? I can't. To me, I think they've played themselves into this lineup, and until they play themselves out of it, they should be even when guys like Danforth get back. Like, even when I don't see, like, how can you play Mason Gearston over or Malenstein, even, or like, again, a guy I've spoken about quite a bit. throughout the season as a guy who should be worried about his place in this lineup. It's Peyton Krebs. I've said it I don't know how many times. That guy should be worried. He should absolutely be worried, because his roster spot to me, it hasn't even been secure since training camp. Because this whole season was going to be really built around internal growth. You're hoping that Jack Quinn becomes the player if he stayed healthy, which he has. That reaches that potential that you hoped he would have when you drafted him. Take that next step because you gave him a raise in the offseason based on hope and expectations, I guess, to say the least. You're hoping that Zach Benson would take the next step. Well, when he's been healthy, yeah, he has. He's been a huge asset and one of if not your best forwards. Because again, guys like Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, who both scored tonight, have been inconsistent. I think they would even say that they've been inconsistent. To me, and then you think about the rest of your forwards, what were you hoping would occur? Zucker again, and that's another thing. Zucker, who we don't even know when he's going to be back. Cooley could be done for the season. Like to me, these guys need to stay in the lineup. Like there's no questions asked. They need to stay here. They should not go back to Rochester. I think again they've played more than good enough to keep their spots in this lineup. I won't hear I won't hear any debate against it. I just won't. Especially with the way the season has gone. It's many people, many fans are already saying that the season's over. I mean, sure, it could be. No doubt. To me, it's I think we all kind of had like this timeline in our brains, like to start of the season, like at what point in the season do you think that you could show optimism, say if they're above 500? I think Thanksgiving was it for everybody. And again, they're not like completely out of it. I think the East is, nobody's really separated from the pack in terms of like the wild card. But I don't know, like this win tonight too. You're not gonna be able to do that every game. You're not gonna be able to storm back and score like the 05, 06, 06, 07 teams used to do when you're down by 2 late in the third, and you continually find ways to score and tie games, get to overtime, win in overtime, or win in a shootout. Like that's not going to keep happening for this team because they're just not talented enough. I don't mean that as like as a negative criticism. I think it's just up and down the lineup. It's just true. You're just not. You just can't win on skill alone. You got to go out and score those Josh Doan goals, score those Alex Tuck goals below the face-off dots near the blue paint. You'll be willing to take a beating to put the puck in the net. That's the way this hockey team is going to win games. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's the way this team was constructed. And we said at the start of the season on this show, and you said it all over Twitter, that this season is going to be very contingent on staying healthy, and they haven't been able to. It's true. It's just, I mean, and again, they're freak things. Like no one expected Jason Zucker, a big part of this top six, to go out to get this viral infection where he wasn't eating solid foods for 9 days. Probably, who knows how much weight he lost. No one expected Yuri Kulik to get a blood clot. I mean, I don't think Rasmus Dahlin expected to go through what he went through in the offseason. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that you can't blame them for. Like, it's not a strength and conditioning thing. But then on top of that, Zach Benson gets hit in the face with a puck that sounded like it got infected. Josh Norris, a guy that you needed to contribute this season. You needed him to stay healthy. He gets hurt in the first game, so he's out for 2 months. Now you dealt with the Kesselring injury to start the season. You get him back for a handful of games, and now it looks like he's hurt again. Who knows what this is? Again, we don't really know yet. All I can say is what Lindy Ruff said in his post-game comments, that it doesn't look good. And these things keep on happening and stacking up against you, unfortunately. And I don't know, like if you're Jarmo Kekalainen, if you're I mean, not I mean Lindy Ruff, but like if you're Kevin Adams, um, I don't know, like how are you not like I know Kevin Adams was in LA and the not in LA, he was there for the LA Toronto game. I haven't heard any updates. We heard that Yarmo was in Columbus for a game like a week or two ago. But other than that, like how are you just sitting on your hands um when the season could potentially be going off the rails, whether it's due to injury or not? Um actually I'm reading through your guys' comments here from this because I was bringing up, some comments and you all guys trying to frantically tell me that I was muted to start the show. I appreciate you guys having my back there. No doubt. It's a good laugh. Yeah, listen, it's I don't know how you sit on your hands. I don't know. Here from John. So glad they won, so Kevin has to keep his job for another week. Listen, I think Kevin Adams is going to have this job the whole season, no matter which way the season goes. I don't know. I joke. Um, I had this killer meme cooked up. That if they did lose, uh, I hate to say it like this, but I was excited to use for all you It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans. The episode where Charlie's all on paint on spray paint. He's playing that's on the piano where it's just I just want to tell you all, go fuck yourselves. I had it queued up where it was Terry Pagula singing that to everybody, and they're all like in shock. It's all of us Sabres fans, and then you have the guys at the bar who are just like sipping their drinks and laughing, and then that's like the guy laughing is like Kevin Adams because he just knows he has like job security probably for the rest of his life, no matter how bad of a job he does. I had that one queued up if that game went the other way. I hate to say it like with a smile on my face, but I'm just a big It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan. But maybe another time, hopefully never. But at the end of the day, yeah, injuries are hurting this team so much, and I'm just still pretty much in disbelief that Kevin hasn't done anything yet. Nothing. Um, I think normal GMs, normal owners go out or like even force a trade, just do something because another season with no playoffs. I mean, we heard the Paul Bissonnette, the Biz stuff. I think it was last year. Was it last year about that? If this happens another season or whatever it is that Dahlin's gonna want, he's gonna be Gonzo's. I think he said. I mean, could you blame any of these guys? Again, another season, no playoffs. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I could blame him. Could you? I can't. Um, I'm wondering if Kozak can be a dedicated faceoff guy. We're brutal. Kozak has been fantastic in the faceoff circle. No doubt about it. Franchise is a joke. The machinist. Again, I tweeted it out during the game. Efforts like this sometimes get somebody fired, but that's only in, you know, normal franchises, not the Buffalo Sabres. To be fair, there are injuries and then there are injuries. No doubt. I mean, even the Bills have gone through it this season. This has been an abnormal year for injuries. No doubt about it. I don't know how you could lose the face-off battle every game. Tonight, 46-26. It costs them. No, it does. It definitely does. And you just can't have one guy like Kozak being like your main face-off guy. It just that was supposed to be Norris, right? Another guy like he was, throughout his career has been very good in the face-off circle. It hurts. Possession is everything, especially in the third period and in overtime when there is a face-off in overtime. Possession is everything. face-offs do matter regardless of what you hear anybody on the radio say. It is a fucking fact that face-offs are a huge part of the game. From Chachi, thanks for this again. I love it because every time we go live, whether it's me or me and Hurls, I always see a ton of new screen names in the chat. I'm seriously it's definitely a breath of fresh air to see you guys tuning in and commenting. So welcome to the show, Chachi. I don't think it's over yet. Stay afloat till we get healthy and Norris back. I love the optimism. I love to be optimistic too. I just think that the problem with this team is just the way it was constructed to built on hoping your team and your players stay healthy because you just don't have the depth to sustain even one major injury, let alone what they've been dealing with. And then again, just hoping that internally guys take the next step forward. I think the two biggest breaths of fresh air when it comes to that department have been Josh Doan and Osland and Rosine, right? Those guys have been a big breath of fresh air for this lineup. But here's the thing. You need Tage Thompson to be what he was tonight every night. You need Tuck on the score sheet every night. You need Ryan McLeod honestly contributing more. It's just these are just facts. They really are. Like you can't tell me otherwise. These are things you need from those guys I just named every single night. It just cannot be up and down, peaks and valleys. It just can't be. From Trade Owen Power 25. This was a turn the tide win, I think. We played pretty well against Cotterell, but all things considered, still got to trade Power. I hope you find creative ways to just, no matter what you're commenting about, I want you to find creative ways to just somehow sprinkle in there. Yeah, you got to trade Owen Power. Defensively, it does bug me quite a bit that you can be that bad in your own end when you have two former first-round draft picks on your blue line. That does drive me insane. And it's no secret that Owen Power is terrible in his own end. He's just not good. But there are a lot of defensemen like him in the league, but the difference is they're contributing at a much larger clip offensively. You outscore your mistakes. And Owen Power just hasn't done that yet this season. I don't know what his numbers look like. Can somebody look that up for me in the chat here and let me know? But you have to be able to outscore your mistakes, and they just haven't. Both they and him have not outscored their mistakes, and he hasn't outscored his. Edmonton Monday could be a tough 2. We can go down 4-1 to them. Listen. Former Sabre Matthew Savoy playing on the top line. I think he's got like 3 points in his last 2 games. I don't know if they play tonight, but I saw that stat and I was like, oh, well, I know there has been a lot of big narrative. I forget who it was. That Matt Larkin guy who said that the Savoy for McLeod trade could be, I forget what trade he compared it to. But he obviously, I shouldn't even say up until now, that's one of those cold take tweets that comes back to haunt you. But I'm happy to see Savoy contributing in Edmonton, getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it. I could probably score a couple goals a season if I played on a line all year with McDavid, but and I'm a goalie and I'm with a bum leg even. You could probably find a way to bank a few off my ass or something. But I'm happy for Savoy to see him contributing at Edmonton, no doubt. That's right. Matt Larkin is creaming his pants with those 3 points, no doubt. 3 top 5 picks in our defensemen, actually, Darlene Power Byram. That's right. Byram was a top 5 pick. Byram has struggled this season, no doubt, in his own end. I think that it doesn't help when you've dealt with the amount of injuries that you have on your blue line, no doubt. And then obviously losing Darlene for a few games, that didn't help either. But hopefully, if and when this blue line ever gets fucking healthy, uh, we can see some type of consistency defensively, some continuity, because it has been bad. It has been bad defensively. Um, Matthew Schaefer is already better than Darlene, Power, and Byram combined. Matthew Shaver has been incredible. No doubt about it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say he's better than Darlene. I think Darlene is a top 5 defenseman in the league, top 3, maybe even like a number 1 damn near on a contending hockey team, which the Sabres are not, unfortunately. Uh, the inconsistency in goaltending, uh, the lack of scoring half the time, the lack of depth. It's tough for me to sit there and say that, Darlene isn't a top 5 defenseman, because he is. He just is. He just is. Like, if you trade Rasmus Dahlin, like, the return you're getting is insane, right? You just are. You're getting a massive return, multiple first round picks, probably a top 6 player, probably a good defenseman. Like that's why guys like him never get traded. Just never get traded. And it's hard for me to sit there and say that even though Matthew Schaefer looks fucking incredible, and it just sounds like he's a really stand-up kid who's going to be the face of the Islanders for a long time. Um, Dahlin is just elite. I think I don't know who else is Swedish in the league defenseman wise, but he's easily the best defenseman in his country, no doubt. I don't know. To me, I can't sit there and make that comparison quite yet. Kesslering is apparently hurt. Yep, I saw that. We talked about it earlier with intern Joey, but thank you for the update. Hey, great comeback. He overcame the terrible giveaways. Timmins out. That was I don't know what he was thinking there. Like, rule number 1, bro. Never up the middle in your own end, even in the air. I've seen guys on skates jump damn near 1.5 feet in the air to catch a puck that was cleared through the middle and ends up in the back of the net behind me. Now, we're talking about me personally. But rule number 1, and that was just a boneheaded mistake, and I'm glad it didn't eventually bite them in the ass at the end. Carlson is not better than Dahlin. No. Erik Karlsson? No. Hedman, I mean, we can have that conversation. But again, Hedman has been on a contender his entire career, whereas Dahlin hasn't. He's been on some very poorly constructed rosters his entire career. Hey, Duane, I'm new here. Appreciate you letting the fans be heard. As ridiculous as we are sometimes, we're all in this together, brother. I appreciate it. Trade it. See, I asked you though. You got to find a way to sprinkle in your screen name in there, Trado and Power. But you didn't do it that time. So next time I comment, you comment. I got to come up with something creative. Passing was terrible tonight. Up until that third period. That always seems to be a problem with this team throughout the year, just being able to be, zone exits, zone entries, just the power play. Again, honestly, with the exception of 4 games this season, their power play has not changed at all. It may look worse than last season. I don't know how anybody could watch this team's power play on a nightly basis and still think Seth Appert belongs behind an NHL bench running a power play. It just makes no sense to me. It makes just as much sense as Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator for Josh Allen. To me, it's mind blowing. And we were in our 2 goalies, one mic chat for a little bit today and during the game, and the conversations about firing Ruff came up, and here's the thing when it comes to Lindy is I don't want his career to end like this with the Sabres. You know what I mean? I don't want to look back on his career and remember the way this ended. It would be so cool to see Lindy be the guy to break this playoff drought that essentially started when he was first fired. I I don't know. I just don't want him to be, I don't know, have his career look back on in this negative way. But he has had some things working against him. The owner's working against him. I just I'll never understand how you bring in a new head coach, and he has to retain the entire, not just like one guy, the entire fucking staff from the previous season. The bunch of losers that the previous regime had. I don't understand it. And I see it, from Paul Hamilton. Watch your language here in the chat. That's Lindy's fault for coming back, man. But is he gonna say no to a head coaching job? No, he's not. And especially when he lives here and he wanted the last time it was available. He takes a ton of pride in this city, being a Buffalonian and wanting to be the guy to turn. I don't blame him for that. How can you? I don't. I never will. But that being said, the clock is ticking for him. It just is. Got to turn this around. You have to find a way to turn this around. And that starts with Kevin Adams, man. Lindy Ruff can only do what he can with what he's being given. And is that message being received, though, by the players? Because once again, season 2, we are having the same fucking conversations about slow starts. Maybe not so much tonight because it was a 1-1 after, but not playing full 3 periods. A horrendous power play. The passing, the zone edge, all of it, the goaltending. It's mind-numbing. It is. And I'm glad they got that in the garage for tonight. I'm glad that we were able to, get 2 points tonight. But those questions are still going to remain come Monday. It is. I don't know. I think that if by Thanksgiving this team isn't above 500 or at 500, heads need to roll. Or maybe the start of I don't know where your deadline for that is. I mean, right now, their record, I'll take a look here real quick, because they got a lot of loser points right now. They are last in the Atlantic still. I'm assuming now, I mean, I just Googled this. I don't know if they're including tonight's win or not. But if this does include tonight's win, they are 6-8-4 for 16 points, last in the Atlantic. The only team, actually, there's no team with less points than Buffalo, unfortunately. I don't know if that's including tonight's win, that 6-8 record. But here's the thing: at 6-8, you're last. Again, you can go on a 3 or 4 game winning streak here and be right back in it. That's just the way it's been for that. It looks this season. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking here, schedule. I'm trying to find if that is their record, 6-8, 6-8-4, whatever. Let me see here. I think so. I think that is correct. I think that's updated, 6-8. So you can go on a 3 or 4 game winning streak, or a 5 or 6 game streak where maybe out of those 5 games you're getting 7 points, and you're right back into it. From Gar Gallant. Duane, you play hockey. Is this a stupid idea? Why don't they just copy a successful power play strategy? I'm not talking about skill level, just X's and O's. Listen, I'm not a big fan of that stupid fucking drop pass. I know a lot of teams in the league do it, but it just doesn't work for us. Mainly because we don't move around enough. You know what I mean? Like how the big criticism is when it comes to the Bills right now, that they can't find a way to scheme wide receivers to get open. It's the same idea on their power play. It's just too stagnant. Guys aren't finding open ice. They aren't moving their feet enough. I just like I again, I'll never forget it. Like I've talked about this tons of times on this show, but remember Bowen Byron's first game as a Sabre on the power play, quarterback in the power play. It's like he's looking around and nobody's moving their feet. You know, you see that all too often with this team. You know, there are some games where I think people are just playing dump and chase on the power play, using that forward momentum to go retrieve a puck, or if you can't get there first, lay into a guy and dig a puck out. Because if I have to watch another night of an 0-4, 0-5 night on the power play, and you look at the box score, the stats for the box score on the power play, they have like only they go for 0 for 4, and they only have like 4 or 5 shots. It's like inexcusable. That doesn't happen with good hockey teams. You find ways to get pucks to the net. I think how many shots on net did they have after 2 periods? 13. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's not a winning hockey team. You got lucky in the third period. Things went your way in the third period. That's not going to happen for you all the time. It's just not. It's never going to. So, that being said, you have to find ways to scheme guys open. And I know they've tried to get away from, focusing on trying to set that perfect play up for Tage. I think it was Rosine on the power play too, had a couple good looks from the opposite side. But guys like Duane need to be contributing more in the power play. On that second unit, it's got to be Owen Power. And that's the thing. If you aren't going to be good enough defensively, you have to be good enough offensively. You know what I mean? I don't know. Need the home whites to be permanent. I agree. No doubt. I wish the NHL would change that rule back. No doubt. So Owen Power this season. I don't know how many points he had tonight, if he had any. But if you are not going to be good enough defensively, you have to be good enough offensively. And I don't know if this is updated or not, but going into tonight, 2 goals, 5 assists for a -8. That is not fucking good enough for a guy who is supposed to be so gifted offensively, but you're a liability defensively. If you're going to be a liability defensively, you need to outscore your mistakes. It's the way it is. The way it is. Maybe you have a 2 or 3 point night, but you end up even, or you end up only a +1 or whatever it is. Like you have to be able to have the ability to outscore your mistakes, and right now he just is not. He is not. And Seth Appert on the power play, that's a big reason why, because you're just not contributing on the power play. I mean, I know he scored the other night in Aline's absence, but I don't know, man. We're in year what now? How many years? So this is 1, 2, 3. We've seen 3 full seasons of Owen Power. 3 full seasons of Owen Power. Last season he had 40 points. Definitely not on pace for that now. No way. 7 points for 7 points in 17 games for Owen Power. That's a joke. That's a fucking joke. And I want to believe in the guy. I do. I want things to be figured out. I want him to finally turn into that offensive juggernaut that we saw at Michigan, that we thought we saw flashes of it the past 2 seasons. Where offense from the offensive standpoint, kind of found it. He was kind of finding his footing. Defensively, a liability, but you're just not getting it from either end on the ice for him right now. And don't let the analytics nerds hear that about Power. They say plus and minus. I mean, it's not the greatest stat to measure a player's importance, but because you can just literally step on the ice and 4 seconds later the puck's and you're getting a minus. I think that's kind of like what analytics people mean, because it's not the tell all be all of a player. No doubt. But it's not great to be a -8 so far this season on a team that was supposed to be a lot better defensively. I think one of the biggest letdowns for me as a goalie is when Alex Lyon was playing out of his mind in a lot of these games that you weren't taking advantage of it and getting 2 points. That has been, um, my biggest letdown from, from my point of view is because you were finally getting 1A level goaltending out of Alex Lyon and just were not taking advantage of it. And it's gonna bite you in the ass. I think that he could play at that level for most of the season if you want him to. I think he's an incredible goaltender. Journeyman, yes. Career backup before this, pretty much, but he has given you a level that you haven't seen in Buffalo for a while. A level of goaltending you haven't seen in Buffalo for a while when he has played. You know, with the exception of the other night where yeah, they scored twice on 3 shots and Ruff yanked them, but Ruff even said to him right there, "This is not on you." Um, but if Lyon is going to give you like above 900% or 90% save percentage level goaltending, like I'd give you like 9, 10 level save percentage goaltending the whole season, then you just have to be able to take advantage of that and win games when he does play like that. And just haven't you haven't. I think Barnaby said it on Twitter best. Like, it's such a letdown when he was playing the way he was that you weren't getting wins in those games. Weren't getting 2 points in those games. Kesslering is in a walking boot. Great to hear. Son of a bitch. Oh man. So I hope Zach Benson could be back once this road trip, not this road trip is over. We'll go back home. Hopefully he's back. But you are gonna be now without Michael Kesslering, who is gonna be your big stay-at-home defenseman for Owen Power this season, which we've only gotten one game of that so far, and that was tonight. And he gets hurt. Um, you don't have Josh Norris. You don't have Yuri Kulik. You don't have I would expect, given the severity of him, the fact that he just wasn't eating solid food for 9 days, it's probably gonna take him a little bit to get back in playing shape. It just doesn't happen overnight. Even for professional athletes, you're probably gonna be without Jason Zucker for at least a couple more games. Man, Duane, did you see Rhett Warner's rant on the Sabres the other day? It was great. I did hear parts of it, like clip pieces, but I haven't listened to it yet in full. But I intend on doing it. I heard there was some criticism of it though, uh, about Alex Tuck apparently never being healthy when he's been pretty much healthy his entire time as a Sabre. I don't know. Maybe Rhett just hasn't been paying it close enough of attention to the team, but I think like the big talking point on that was about ownership, which that interests me, and I am interested in, um, you know, talking about potentially the owner selling this team to somebody who'll keep it in Buffalo. Of course, I mean I don't think the NHL will allow us to leave Buffalo, but I don't know, man. Brendan Shanahan's there. He's just there, and he wants a job. You just give him a job. Just give him a job. He's there. He wants to work. He wants to work for you. He called you. We should be celebrating a win. We should be celebrating this win because it was a fun win, big comeback. You always like those games. It's just hard to because when you want to celebrate this win, but then you get the Kessler news. It's like, how much more shit can we put on this shit sandwich? Fuck, man. Kesslering is in a walkie boot. Man, who did we piss off? What hockey god did we piss off to just? Everybody keeps getting injured. I'm not laughing at injuries, but like it's like, what the fuck, man? Come on. And the GM's gonna sit on his hands. Oh, I mean, he'll bring up Zach Jones or Ryan Johnson and think that'll fix the fucking issue, man. Not going to fix the issue. And again, you could literally be back in the thick of this with like winning 4 out of 5. And you could be put yourself right back in a position to be in a wild card spot with the way the East looks right now. And you are going to sit on your fucking hands and do nothing. You know that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen. Like, how can you sit on your hands right now if you're Kevin Adams? And this is why I never truly believe his job is on the line. Because I think any normal general manager in this fucking league, in this same situation, you're in a shit or get off the pot year. They are making a move to make it. Like, what the fuck does Jarmo Kekalainen do? What is he doing? What the fuck does Eric Stahl do? Is Kevin just hiring his friends? Is that what this is? I mean, we all know that's why Matt Ellis has a job with the team. But is that why Eric Stahl is here? Because they're friends? Kekalainen? Like, what do you do, bro? Are you just sitting here like this, twiddling your thumbs, waiting and hoping that Kevin Adams gets fired so you can just slide in as the next GM? Well, if that's what you're waiting for, then get the fuck off my hockey team because I want to win now. I don't want to be talking about Gavin McKenna this early in the season. Like, what do these guys do? Like, Office Space, the Bobs. I want to be one of the Bobs. I just want to say, what is it that you do here? Because I'm really confused because I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard that you're out there outside of a couple times this season out scouting players. I'm fairly positive neither of them live in Buffalo. So what is it you're doing that you're being paid to do? Because I would love to know. Love to know. What is it that Jarmo Kekalainen does? What is it that Eric Stahl does? Because right now it hasn't paid off for this fucking hockey team. I just want to be happy after a win. I do. I just want to be happy. But then a major injury to your blue line happens. And then you're sitting here questioning the structure of this team and how it's been constructed. Because the way this team was constructed, it was not constructed to be able to sustain injuries. Just wasn't. The whole season was built on hope. And here we go again. Like, let's be real. Like, if JJ Paterka didn't want out of Buffalo, he'd still be with the Sabres. Like, you wouldn't have Josh Duane and Michael Kessler in here. So it's like you want to give Kevin credit for that, for getting the best possible return he could for that guy. But at the end of the day, like, if Paterka didn't demand to be out, then guess what? Like, he probably doesn't add anything offensively to this team. Let's be real. Let's be real about it. That's probably the truth. He was backed into a corner with the Paterka thing. He had to trade him. And, I'll give credit where credit is due. He got a good return. He did. I think Josh Doan has easily turned into a fan favorite. But at the end of the day, you are going to sit on your hands here, aren't you, Kevin? You're gonna sit there. I just, what the fuck does Jarmo Kekalainen even do? That was the big move this whole offseason next to the Paterka trade. We went out and got a senior advisor, experienced GM, and Jarmo. But what does he do? And what about goaltending? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch a 3 goalie rotation all season, man. I don't want to. Like, that's not how you're going to win. You need to trade Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. You just have to. Like, what are we doing here? Are they waiting to see how things shake out the way of the season? Because I could totally see them trading Alex Lyon at the deadline to a contender, if Lyon continues to keep the numbers he has. Um, Alex Tuck, we don't know what's going on with him. He wants to be in Buffalo apparently, but at what cost? I'm absolutely willing to pay Alex Tuck $10 million a season because I think he's worth every penny. But I'm just I what is it? He wants 12, 13? No, I'm out. I'm out. Call up LA. Just make him an offer they can't refuse for like Quentin Byfield. Make him an offer they just cannot refuse. That involves Alex Tuck if that is the case. There's no way you can lose that guy for nothing. You just can't. You cannot lose that guy for nothing. And I love Alex Tuck. I got his jersey. But if come the NHL trade deadline, if he is not signed, you have to trade him. You have to trade him. You cannot lose that guy for nothing. Cannot. Cannot have happen to you this time like what happened with Linus Ullmark. When Linus Ullmark pulled the wool over your eyes, said, "Oh, I don't want to negotiate in season. I still want to be with the Sabres." Da, da, da. And then he goes first day free agent signs with Boston. I would love 1-for-1, sign me up all day, twice tomorrow. Does he for sure want to end his career in Buffalo? I mean, I think he said it, he wants to be a Sabre, but it has to make sense for him too. I'll never hold it against a player for wanting to get their value and make money because once hockey's over, it's over. And you got to deal with the repercussions of playing professional sports, especially when you see it like in football where head injuries are so much more prevalent than most other sports. So I will never hold it against a player for getting their value. No way would I. I'll never be mad at them because once the game is over, it's over. Not everybody can go into broadcasting or go into would be a GM or a head coach. Sometimes they're not. Everybody's not made out to do that. So I'll never hold it against Alex Tuck or anybody for wanting to get their true value out in the open market. No, no way. So, that's about everything, man, that I got. I wish we could have more positive, constructive talk after a huge win. Not we say huge, but a fun win, a fun third period, a great overtime winner, Matthias Samuelsson, who's had a great year. It is fucking crazy. It is absolutely batshit, turtle shit, giraffe shit, buffalo shit, fucking crazy that Matthias Samuelsson has easily been their best defenseman this season. That is absolutely insanity. Insane. So, I don't know. I'm going to hit the post-game comments here, but before we do that, I just want to say big shout out again to our sponsors at Fatty Beer, Western Area's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from. If you want to watch a Bills game on a Sunday tomorrow at 1 o'clock, if you want to watch Sabres game, any really live sporting event, head on over to Fatty Beer. They have 7 Western Area locations and just great vibes, great food, great people, great bartenders. I can't stress it enough. As a guy who doesn't drink a ton, when I do want to go out and have, out with a few friends, almost always go to a Fatty Beer location because it's just a great time. Be a Mug Club member or get on their waiting list. It's worth every penny. And again, let them know we sent you over here at Two Goalies, One Mic. And of course, as always, our partners over at Extreme Discount Mattress. If you do buy a mattress and you let them know that you are a fan of Two Goalies, One Mic, they will get you a matching mattress protector for whatever mattress you buy. So definitely something to, look into, especially with the holidays coming along. If you need a new mattress for Christmas, not a bad idea. Let them know we sent you over to Goalies, One Mic. So Shout out to Extreme Discount Mattress, where you can buy a mattress for less, a lot less.
We know with Skechers, your day starts with the comfort and support you need for your feet. And now that same innovation has made its way to the bedroom. Introducing the Skechers Sleep System. With cooling SketchKnit fabric, pressure-relieving Skechers Max cushioning, and our Skechers Posture Fit support system. Your day ends just like it began, with Skechers comfort that never stops. Skechers mattresses, exclusively at Extreme Discount Mattress, the lowest prices in the nation.
And thanks again to both Fatty Beer Company and Extreme Discount Mattress. Make sure you go check them both out. Great vibes, great food, great drinks at Fatty Beer. And again, great deals to be had at Extreme Discount Mattress if you need a new mattress at any 7 of their locations. So post-game comments via Brian Koziel after the Sabres win 5-4 in overtime versus Detroit. Samuelson on they were pissed after the second and they had nothing to lose. Said they have to give a little FU. Oh, sorry, he just typed this very oddly. But Samuelson on how they were pissed after the second said they had nothing to lose. Said they had to have a little FU in their game. Samuelson says they missed Darlene. Said there are things bigger than hockey. Said Darlene is in a great mood being back and ready to play. Says his play on the ice is huge for them. Thompson said the 4-on-4 goal against by Larkin was his fault. He wanted to make sure it didn't cost them the game in the third. Said they played desperate. Says no one will feel sorry for them. Knew that if they got in early, they could put pressure on Detroit. Thompson says it's an attitude. Says it has to be everyone, not just a few. Says everyone said enough is enough after 2 periods when they trailed by 2 goals. It's a good attitude to have. Thompson said Darlene's return means a lot. Says he's an impact player and not a coincidence that they got this done tonight. McLeod says they were pretty frustrated and Tage got a huge goal to get them back in the game. Says tonight they were playing with a lot of confidence in the third and he could sense it on the bench. McLeod said he took a peek back to see that he had a decent amount of time on the shorthanded goal that ended up tying the game. Ruff says they started winning battles and they talked about the third period. They executed the plan for the third. Said their desperation had to be better than Detroit's. Ruff says the too many men call late in the game was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. Says their PK has been real good all year long. I think pretty much it's been the number 1 penalty kill in the National Hockey League. Ruff says Greenway was actually supposed to be on the ice shorthanded, but McLeod called him off. Great call by McLeod. Ruff said the team really wanted to win for Darlene. Says it was an impressive night for him. Ruff says Kessering has a lower body injury. It doesn't look good. And again, it was reported that he was in a walking boot after the game. So not good. Not good. Again, we wish we could celebrate this win for what it was, even though, you wish, you play a full 3 periods of hockey. It was a fun third period. But again, you come out of this with a major injury. So Jacob Bryson shouldn't be our number 7 defenseman. I agreed. I hope they continue to let Darlene get back home as needed. Yeah, especially if they have time off in between games. Like if there's ever like a time where maybe you have like 4 nights before a game, let them go home for 2 nights. Why not? Maybe give Ryan Johnson. That'll never happen. Ryan, I hate to say it, but Owen Power making over $8 million, it'll never happen. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you hopping on with me tonight. This has been another edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western Area's Premier Market and Tap Room, and of course, Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. So I'll talk to you guys later. Go Bills tomorrow. Hopefully they can get one, win one after the embarrassing loss to Miami. It's a tough matchup against the Bucks, but as always, go Sabres. Talk to you later.